You all ever heard of Pine Hollow, West Virginia? Most heavenly place, hard to even find it on a map these days. Some folks says it doesn't even exist anymore. Not in the way you had expect, but back in the late 90s, Pine Hollow was just another mountain town. The kind where everywhere knew each other, where gossip spread faster than wildfire, and where folks lived and died without ever leaving the country line. Now, Pine Hollow had only one thing that kept it connected to the outside world: WPRH 96.6 FM, the town's little radio station. It was small, nothing fancy, run out of a squat brick building near the post office. The signal barely stretched 30 miles in any direction. But in a town where not much happened, WPRH was everything. It carried Sunday sermons for the Baptists' birthdays, shoutouts for the kids, swap shop announcement, and the old country record folks never seemed to get tired of. And the man who ran it, an old timer named Clarence Todd, was about as much a part of Pine Hollow as the coal dust in the air. Clarence wasn't slick like the big city DJs. He was plain steady, the kind of man who had tell a bad joke on their air and chuckle at his own punchline, then spin Hank Williams without missing a beat. Folks trusted Clarence. They had tuned in just to hear him talk, even if he was just announcing the weather. But then came the storm of 97. It was early fall, the kind of night where the clouds drop low and the mountains hunch up against the wind. Rain came down in sheets. The lightning was so close it lit up the rides like daylight. And the thunder, it didn't just boom, it rolled, shook the ground like the whole valley was hollow inside. Most folks stayed home, candles lit, radios tuned to Clarence, waiting for the storm to pass. But around 11:30 that night, things got strange. Clarence put on a record, one of those old gospel tracks he liked to play late in the evening. Folks expected him to come back on after it finished, maybe make a joke about the weather or remind everyone to stay safe. But Clarence never came back. Instead, the station went quiet for a spell. Then, just when people thought the storm might have knocked it out, the static started. At first, it was a faint, just white noise, the kind you had expect on a stormy night. But then came this low, steady sound, almost like someone breathing too close to a microphone. People leaned in, fiddled with their dials, and then, clear as day, a voice came through. Not Clarence's voice. This one was hoarse, dry, the kind of voice that makes the hairs stand up on the back of your neck, and all it said was, "Don't go outside, they're here." Folks laughed nervously at first, thought maybe Clarence was pulling a prank, trying to spook folks with the storm raging. But then the voice spoke again, and this time it started saying names, real names, families in Pine Hollow, one by one. The Millers, the Boyds, the Wexlers, ordinary people, ordinary homes. Now when their names came over the air, something strange happened. Folks swore later that they heard noises at their windows, scratching, tapping, knocking, and not from the wind or branches either. Slow, deliberate sounds as if someone or something was outside trying to get in. The worst part, some of the families whose names were called, well, they were never seen again. Their houses were left open, dinner plates still on the table, lights still burning, but the people gone, vanished without a trace. Come morning, the sheriff went down to the station to check on Clarence. The door to WPRH was standing wide open, rain blown in across the carpet. Clarence's car was still parked outside, keys in the ignition. His coffee cup was half full, still warm. The record he had put on was spinning endlessly, the needle clicking against the paper label. But Clarence, he was gone. So was the station's emergency generator. Things had been torn right out of the valve. Wires snapped clean through, metal bent like it was nothing but tinfoil. Sheriff said it looked like someone had ripped it loose by hand. The FCC came in, tried to make sense of it. They shut the place down, told folks it was faulty equipment, or maybe Clarence had gone off. wandering in the storm. But the people of Pine Hollow knew better, because even after the situation was officially off the air, folks still claimed they could hear it, not all the time, just on stormy nights. If you tune, if you turned the dial just right, through the static you had catch it, that same low hum, that same voice, and it always sounded like it was speaking directly to whoever was listening. Sometimes it would say the same thing, don't go outside. Sometimes it would just breathe, but every so often it would call out another name, and when it did, someone in Pine Hollow would vanish before sunrise. Now, here's the part of that sticks with me. They say the very last recording ever pulled from that station, the one kept locked away by the state police, ends with the voice whispering something different, something worse. It says, if you are listening, it's too late. We already know your name. And the officer who played it back, he swore the last name it whispered was his. 2 weeks later, he was gone. So if you ever find yourself driving through West Virginia on a stormy night and your radio starts humming, static cutting through the dark, don't tune it, don't listen, and go for God's sake, don't let it call your name. They say Pine Hollow's gone now, wiped off the maps, but maybe, just maybe, if you sit real quiet and turn your radio dial during a thunderstorm, you'll hear the clarence still warning you not to open the door.